My fiance got upset after finding out I've done things with casual exes that I don't want to do with him, and now he thinks I only save my boundaries for someone I actually care about. I, 25F, have been with John, 29M, for 3 years in total, and we've had a great run so far. Even from early on I thought he could be the one, so I happily said yes when he asked me to marry him a few months ago, although wedding planning has been put on the back burner for now by COVID. I thought things were great, but suddenly, I feel like we are at a serious impasse that has made things very tense between us. With restrictions in our state winding down, we finally hosted a small get-together, which mostly included friends I had from college. I think with all the recent stress we all went a bit out and the booze was flowing freely. At one point we had a party game of sorts where the topic became kind of intimate. I don't want to get too explicit, but they basically asked if I'd ever done, backdoor stuff. I didn't feel comfortable answering, but a friend of mine who was super wasted blurted out that I did it with X and Y. I was super mad that she violated my privacy like that, but didn't want to ruin the party, and we kind of laughed it off and moved on. I thought that was it, but later that night I could tell that John seemed very upset and I asked him what was wrong. We had never really discussed our intimate history, and frankly I thought we both preferred it that way. But now John asked me very probing questions, for example how many guys I did backdoor stuff with. I was reluctant, but answered honestly that it was about 8. He also asked me about some other acts I had done that I don't want to get into. Then we came to the real issue. He said he felt upset that I did backdoor stuff with all those guys, but refused to try it with him. It's true that he asked before and I said it's not something I want to do, which is true. I'm not sure how to explain it, but the act feels kind of degrading to me. I kind of enjoyed doing it in a wilder phase of my life because there was this appeal of trying something more taboo, but only with casual partners. But I don't want a man I love and respect so much and who respects me to do that to me. The idea just sounds completely off-putting to me. I tried to explain how I felt to John, but he did not see it that way. He said some hurtful things during that conversation. He knew I briefly had a thing with a baseball player in college, and he said how I was happy getting on my hands and knees to get butt stuff by a left fielder, but suddenly became a prude for me. He realized he went too far and apologized immediately, but the tension between us remained palpable. We haven't been intimate since this fight, if you can call it that, and I am not sure how to get past this. Has anyone dealt with anything similar? How can I try to explain to John that it's not that I don't love him less and find him attractive? It's just that I'm a different person now, and the kinds of things that seemed fun in my crazier college days are not something I want to repeat in a committed relationship. Relevant comments. Commenter: yeah, I don't know how you don't get why he's upset. You didn't try it with one guy and find out you don't like it. You did it with 8 guys, so it's clearly something you at least didn't hate and at most enjoyed to some degree. So in his mind it's something you like to do, and he's the part of the equation that's different. And I'm confused on how it makes you feel dirtier to do things with the person you're in a loving relationship with than it did a bunch of randos who were literally just in it for the lovemaking. OP, I tried to explain this to my fiance. It's not the physical side of it that's the problem, but emotional side. There is something about the act that makes me feel powerless and almost degraded in some sense. I actually enjoyed it for that reason, like the fact that it was degrading made it more intense, and without getting too explicit I also liked it when guys did other acts along those lines or called me names. But it was one thing when I was kinda living out a fantasy with people was just experimenting with. I absolutely would not want my husband to see me like that or insult me in bed. Even the thought of it kind of makes me sad, if that makes sense. I want our intimate life to be a reflection of our normal life and be warm and respectful. Same commenter: but after your partner had asked about having backdoor stuff with you and you responded that it's just something that you don't do, I can't get behind that. You lied to your partner. Backdoor stuff is something that you absolutely do, just not with him. OP, I absolutely did not lie. The way the conversation went down specifically was that he asked if I am interested in doing backdoor stuff, and I answered that I have no interest in doing it. He didn't ask about what I had done with others, and I didn't ask him either. It was just a preference of mine not to talk about the past since I thought nothing good would come of it. I knew that we both had our histories and I was fine with that, but I didn't want details to mess with my head, and he seemed to feel the same. Update: 3 weeks later. Unfortunately I don't have a happy update, but I am grateful for all the advice I got. I took some time to reflect and see things from John's perspective. I understood how the revelation of my history may have made him question things and make him feel that I didn't value him as much as other partners, which was 100% not true and not how I wanted him to feel. I had another talk with John and said that if he wanted for us to incorporate that kind of stuff into our intimate life, I would be willing to give it a try, and he agreed, but not with as much enthusiasm as I expect. To be honest, I was very uncomfortable with the idea for reasons I explained in my previous post, but thought I could get over it for the sake of salvaging our relationship. The experience was awful. I thought I was okay with it, but felt this strange sadness that John was doing this to me. In the past John had been very romantic and caring, but this time he was almost robotic, when he must have seen I was feeling distressed. After he finished I went to shower and then just cried. I guess at that point I realized that our relationship was over. We had one last candid discussion to kind of put it all out there. John apologized for how he acted and basically said that, even though he didn't mean for it to happen, his perception of me changed after I told him about my past. He said he had built up this image of me based on the person he knew, but that image kind of shattered after hearing about my promiscuity in college and how I had been more adventurous with other guys. He said he was sorry, that he tried to get over it, but somehow he just couldn't. The silver lining is that at least at the end we parted ways on a civil note. John was kind and helpful and helped me move out to a friend's apartment who had a spare room I am now renting. I would be lying if I said that I am really okay with the situation, since it's been nothing less than disorienting. This was by far the best relationship I ever had, and I am still struggling to figure out how it just kind of crumbled so suddenly. Fortunately, my friends have been very supportive and my workplace is opening up again, so at least I can take my mind off of the relationship and move on with my life.